Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Expect to be thrilled, excited, and my personal favorite, scared even a little bit by some of today's clips. Without wasting too much of your precious time, let's jump right into it. We start off today's episode in Fresno, California, where an enigmatic incident has left the locals scratching their heads. A branch of a palm tree was seen floating in the sky. This isn't one of those situations where you could say it's some sort of performance or trick. There's no sign of human intervention, no strings attached, and certainly no plausible explanations readily available. One might first consider the weather as a possible reason. Could a strong wind have lifted the branch into the sky? A closer look at the video suggests otherwise. The atmosphere is strangely quiet with no signs of a powerful breeze. So what power could have launched this palm branch skyward? Aaron believes it's some sort of supernatural power at work, perhaps the sky gods, but then again, Aaron always says such things, so what do you guys think? Still on strange sky phenomena, the next clip was sent in by someone who noticed something strange in the clouds. Take a look. This cloud looks like a craft, doesn't it? Conspiracy theorists have long whispered about clouds serving as clever camouflage for unidentified flying objects. While concrete evidence supporting such notions remains elusive, sightings like these inject fresh intrigue into the debate. Meanwhile, some say this could be a diamond head cloud. These clouds can exhibit shapes resembling saucers, discs, or even more peculiar forms. These clouds, known for their whimsical formations, have become entwined with UFO sighting narratives like this one. While some argue that the cloud craft is simply a result of natural meteorological phenomena, others claim that these clouds act as perfect camouflage for interstellar visitors observing our world from above. What do you think it is? In the picturesque village of El Patrigal, nestled within the Rangel municipality in Miranda State, Venezuela, a remarkable and somewhat unsettling discovery unfolded on December 2, 2022. A local peasant going about his day stumbled upon this creature. The creature was standing by a tree in front of some bushes. Compared to the tree, this creature is very small. It had a human-like body, and its legs looked almost bowed. It looks pretty emaciated, and its head was bald. All its body is hairless, and its skin is dark. Is this a unique species that has eluded our scientific cataloging, or, as some speculate, could this be evidence of an encounter with a small alien creature from beyond our planet? A worker in a building noticed a dark entity floating by the railing outside, so naturally he came out and attempted to kick it. You can even see that dark mass of smoke there as he did so. The entity floated away from the railing. When this was captured initially, the worker was asked why he had gone to kick at the air. However, he brought to their attention that he'd just seen an entity and thought it was physical, but his leg just went through. They reviewed the footage on camera, and there it was, although not as visible as it was to the man when he went after it. Everyone was shocked and asked what it could be, and despite thousands seeing it, no one had answers. What do you think this could be? Dinosaurs have long fascinated both the scientific and non-scientific communities for centuries. These creatures were believed to have roamed the Earth long before the rise of human civilization. We've known them to be extinct, however, recent internet buzz has thrown a curveball into that conversation. This particular clip has been the reason for the buzz. Many who saw the footage believed it was a raptor, but how's that possible? I know scientific innovation has made way for humans to build these creatures, and it's not uncommon to witness lifelike reconstructions of extinct species. But this particular video raises eyebrows for its uncanny realism, leaving viewers to grapple with the unsettling notion that dinosaurs, or at least their replicas, may walk among us once again. I love the idea, but it also scares me. I mean, we all know what happened in Jurassic Park. What if we don't get someone to tame them like Owen? Then what happens? In this next clip, we see a man following strange-looking creatures into the jungle. They look like tiny humans, but they have these black things on like a cape, but it's made out of what looks like Saxaw fur. Some believe that they are orang pendek or suku mante in Indonesian mythology. The orang pendek is often described as a small humanoid creature around 3 to 5 feet tall with a human-like appearance but covered in fur or hair. Legend has it that they are protectors of the environment and are able to communicate with the spirits of the forest. Do you think this is genuine footage of them, or could someone just be messing with us? Back in 2013, this image was taken in Clearwater, Idaho. It was of a luminous humanoid floating mid-air in front of a tree. The ethereal brightness emanating from the figure adds a supernatural touch to the moment, leaving us with a host of questions about the nature of this enigmatic being. The possibilities are as diverse as the human imagination allows. One interpretation might lead us to consider the prospect of extraterrestrial visitation. The luminous humanoid with its otherworldly glow could be perceived as a visitor from distant galaxies. It could also be a heavenly being or spiritual entity, an angel or some sort of guardian spirit. Humans mostly perceive these beings to be bright, but what do you guys think? You might want to pay attention to this next clip. A woman was being filmed in broad daylight. Watch what happens to her. A man appears out of nowhere and walks nonchalantly away like it's nothing. Now, from where he materialized from, you can see there is some distortion around. The air around him wobbles as if he stepped out of a portal. Could this be a glimpse into the elusive world of time travel, a phenomenon that has long captivated the human imagination? Skeptics raise questions about the authenticity of the footage, pondering whether clever editing or special effects may be at play. It's too unbelievable to declare as authentic, but with some of the things we have seen on this channel, that possibility is not entirely impossible. What do you guys think? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Pets have been comforting companions for a long time, but recent talk about skinwalkers has added an ominous atmosphere to the simple joy of having animal friends. I mean, would you get a dog if you were told that there is a shape-shifting creature that could look like a dog out there? Take a look at this footage, for instance. A cat owner noticed something weird about his feline. The cat was acting strange. As the owner was filming, it caught the cat at the right time when it stood on its 2 legs in an awkward stance. Don't tell me this doesn't scream skinwalker. If that's not a skinwalker, then that's definitely a very weird cat for sure. Here we have another illuminous being caught on camera. This happened to one of many worshippers who had gone into a cave to pray. A man sitting on the ground, glowing. Look at how the rest of his companions are shocked by this. In various religions and spiritual traditions, radiant or luminous experiences during prayer or meditation might be seen as a sign of deep spiritual connection, enlightenment, or divine presence. However, some yoga practitioners say this is what they call a yoga master or pure energy. In yoga, individuals who have achieved a high level of self-realization and mastery over the mind and body are sometimes referred to as yogis or yoga masters. The idea is that such individuals have tapped into a heightened state of consciousness, leading to transformative experiences. But when you look at these people, they don't look like yoga people. They're dressed in white robes and have small white caps on their heads like Muslims. So who are these people and why is this man glowing? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, let's take a look at this suspicious footage. The clip introduces us to what looks like a helicopter flying in the sky. It wasn't alone, though. It was flying with another craft that was much smaller than it was. This smaller craft was leaving a trail of mysterious fumes behind it. Now, what could that craft have been? No one knows, but some suspect the helicopter was actually in pursuit of the smaller one or trying to catch it. I find that hard to believe, but you still can't help but wonder if the whole thing is a military operation involving a UFO. Others have pointed out that we could be looking at a drone, but I doubt it. If that's the case, why is the helicopter chasing it? This is a bit out of our area of expertise, including Julius, our scientific man. If any of you have some aviation experience, could you tell us if this is normal or if something really ominous is happening? We'd appreciate the input. During a Hollywood event, something strange happened. As Scarlett Johansson is being interviewed, the attention shifts to the background, where a woman in black is walking behind her. Suddenly, in a blink, she vanishes into thin air. Let's watch the footage again. Did you see that? Was it a result of expert video editing, or did something genuinely inexplicable occur? Naturally, conspiracies are flying everywhere. One user stated that it could be a hologram. Most of these Hollywood celebrities are at home with ankle monitors awaiting trial for crimes against humanity. While we find this amusing, what if that's the actual truth? Something that's too much of a stretch and that the whole thing is a glitch in the Matrix. What do you think? In the depths of the forest, a trail camera recently unveiled an enigmatic scene that left observers questioning the boundaries of the natural world. The subject of this cryptic encounter appeared to be a creature with a coyote's head and its back turned to the camera. Yet, upon closer inspection, you can see its back, which looks nothing like a coyote. It has a shorter lower torso and no tail, unlike its supposed canine counterpart. Now, let's put on our detective hats. What are we looking at here? One possible explanation is that the coyote in question may have a genetic anomaly or defect. Sometimes nature produces animals with unusual features due to genetic mutations, injuries, or other factors. These can result in creatures with distinct physical traits that set them apart from others of their kind. Another avenue to explore takes us into the realm of folklore and myth, specifically the concept of a skinwalker, the supernatural entities with the ability to transform into animals. The third and perhaps most fascinating possibility is the chance of encountering a completely new species or a hybrid creature. While discovering a new species is rare, the natural world occasionally surprises us with previously unknown variations. Although less common, hybridization between different species is not unheard of in the animal kingdom. What do you think this creature is? Usually when I hear UFO, what comes to mind is a saucer or strange-looking craft in the sky, but this is a new one. This latest sighting has introduced an intriguing deviation from the norm. At first glance, the object might be mistaken for ordinary debris or discarded polythene, a common sight in the urban environment. Yet a closer inspection reveals a startling revelation. This is no inanimate material. The object exhibits lifelike characteristics with tentacle-like appendages gracefully undulating in the sky. With this, I think it's more of a creature than a craft. Maybe a giant octopus or squid of some sort. What do you think? For this next clip, we have a little issue. The person behind the camera believes that the one behind the door knocking and calling out to her is not her mom. The person keeps knocking and calling out to her, telling her to open the door and come out, but she refuses. Finally, she asks the person behind the door what her name was, but the person wouldn't answer. This brings one paranormal creature to mind, the skinwalker. Skinwalkers can shapeshift into people, but they miss a few details that give them away. But the footage ends there. We don't know how the lady behind the camera resolves the issue, but we do hope that she is safe. Technology has come so far over the years, especially from the use of telephones to smartphones. But take a look at this curious image of a soldier from the 1900s holding what looks like a smartphone. I mean, who had those back in the day? Could it be an instance of a time traveler carrying a futuristic gadget back to an era when such technology was inconceivable, or is this simply some really good cosplay? I know the concept of time travel has been a subject of fascination and speculation, with stories circulating about individuals appearing in different historical periods with advanced technology, but we can't say with certainty what this situation might be. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes. If you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a skinwalker after you now, would you? Here's another discovery from the 1900s. This is an alleged alien capture in a photograph on August the 25th, 1970, in the Gila National Forest, New Mexico, United States. Just look at this creature, slender body and its chest sticking to its ribs. Its head is small and it seems like it has quite a strange back. Unlike the technologies we have to easily fake things like this now, back then to fake an image like this would have been quite the work. It may even end up looking unrealistic and eventually end up easily identified as a hoax. Looking at this creature, however, something tells me this is no hoax. It could be one of the most legitimate evidence of alien existence on Earth. What do you think? This footage was taken in Chile after massive wildfires broke out in central Chile on February the 3rd, 2024, causing extensive destruction and resulting in the deaths of at least 122 individuals. The most severely impacted areas were near the cities of Valparaiso and Vina del Mar, where entire neighborhoods were obliterated. The cause of this tragic event was the dry conditions and elevated temperatures in the country, which created a highly conducive environment for the ignition and rapid propagation of fires, turning the once vibrant neighborhoods into scenes of devastation. Hundreds of people were displaced, rendered homeless, and injured by the tragedy. This is unfortunate, and we hope humanitarian aid comes to their rescue as soon as possible. These things have been popping up lately, black circles in the sky. What could they be? For those seeing them for the first time, these black circles are often associated with natural atmospheric or meteorological phenomena. One possible explanation is that they could be related to unusual cloud formations, atmospheric disturbances, or optical illusions caused by specific lighting conditions. But some have a more fantastical theory for these black rings. They believe this is a portal to another dimension or a supernatural sign of some sort. If that really is the case, could these be the reason for the numerous UFO sightings of late? I guess we'll never know. While on a boat ride, someone saw these pair of eerie hands in the water reaching out for a medal that was tied to the boat. These strange hands looked like they belonged to a monster. They're scaly and short with webbed fingers and claws. As the boat drifts through the mysterious encounter, the true nature of these eerie hands remains shrouded in ambiguity. Are these the appendages of a denizen of the deep, a marine monster hidden in the fathomless depths, or do they belong to an entity from the realm of myth and legend, surfacing momentarily to intrigue and mystify? Now I know there are defective creatures or even hybrid animals like a liger from a lion and a tiger, and then the zonkey, which is from a donkey and a zebra. These mixes seem okay, they don't look extremely different from their originals. However, this footage comes up and I'm so confused. How does this creature survive? Does it snack on underwater delicacies like a bird, or does it do the classic fishy gulp? Nature sure knows how to throw us a curveball, leaving us scratching our heads in amazement. So what's your take on this fish bird? Before you answer, allow me to tell you my take. Someone most definitely created this using CGI. It's most definitely not real. At least, those are my thoughts. What are yours? What in the devil is this? A black cat sitting on a table with a white face and a black mustache. I hope this is some sort of Halloween dress-up because this looks so freaky. Or was the cat born with white fur on its face and black fur all over? That would be weird. Or could this perhaps be some type of photo face filter? No one can say with certainty, but take a look at the table. I think the answer to this is there. On it, you should see some white powder. Inferring from the scene, it looks like our furry friend mistook it for a culinary delight and dabbled in a bit of messy mischief. That could explain the look, at least from my perspective. What do you think of it all? Well, how about that for a sparkly spectacle in the California skies? What we've got here is a fiery orb dancing around with a trail of glittery fire, and it's putting on quite a show. Now, before we jump to conclusions, let's try to figure this out. Fireworks? That was my initial thought too, but this is a bit out of the ordinary for the typical fireworks routine. It looks like Tinkerbell went on a growth spurt and decided to flaunt her pixie dust in the night sky. Could this be something new and dazzling that we haven't seen before? Innovation in the fireworks department, perhaps. The mystery lingers, and I'm just as intrigued as you are. What's your take on this sparkling sensation? Yikes! Well, would you look at that? A rare eel-like creature with human-like teeth in northeastern Argentina. Nature does have its way of throwing us some curveballs, and this toothy discovery is one for the books. It's like a scene from a creature feature, but hey, at least it's not roaming around causing havoc. What do you make of this unusual find? Mother Nature sure knows how to keep us on our toes with her diverse creations. Did you see that? Did you see the woman appear and then disappear in the right portion of your screen? Well, that's at least what the man who shared this Trailcam footage with us thought it was. If you inspect the footage carefully, it looks like a person fades in, stays with us for a couple of seconds, and then fades out again. When we zoom in, you can assume that the white part could be the face and the darker part below could be the body. Many believe that when a person dies, their soul still wanders on Earth for a while before they go to the afterlife. It's believed that wandering souls sometimes reveal themselves in subtle ways like this. Do you believe this could be a wandering soul revealing itself, or do you think that there is a more logical explanation? Let us know in the comments. This jogger was running on a mountain trail when he spotted a baby cougar, which may have seemed cute at first. However, he knew that where there are cubs, there is usually a protective mother lurking nearby. Sure enough, not long after he saw the cub, the mother cougar emerges from the bushes in the distance and begins sprinting towards him. Realizing the danger he was in, he immediately began a retreat. The cougar was, however, stalking him, ready to pounce any time she believed she had the right opportunity to do so. Despite being very afraid, the young man stood his ground and started to shout and wave his arms to make himself appear bigger than he actually was in an attempt to intimidate the predator. The cougar, however, was not deterred and continued to advance toward him. As the situation became more desperate, he started hurling rocks at the beast, which either lost interest, became scared, or remembered it had left its kids alone. Whatever the case was, the young man was thankful that he survived. What happens when you live in a location with no wildlife, but hear strange animal sounds at night? What happens when you go to the woods and an ape-like creature uproots and throws a tree at you? What happens when a guest visiting your town, oblivious to these strange things, goes to the cemetery and sees a huge ape-like creature standing there? Well, whether you're a believer or not, you come to the same conclusion. The Sasquatch lives with you there. Think I'm being paranoid? Watch this footage from CTV News. Though there is no video or image, you can hear a bone-chilling cry coming from the woods. It sounds like no known animal in existence. The townspeople call it the Sasquatch, meaning wild man. They speak of stories of an ape-like creature that moves on both feet like a man, but much taller and hairier all over. Sound familiar? I'm sure it does. It's Bigfoot with a different name. The people on the island say that they hear the sound all the time. Some unbelievers have insisted that it was not possible and that it had to be an animal. But how do you explain that in a location with no animals? This eerie footage was captured by an individual exploring an abandoned building, and it certainly raises a few questions. In the video, as the camera pans through the building, it comes to an open space where something rather strange appears. At a glance, it appears ordinary, but a second look and you'd realize that there's something more at play. Slowing down the footage, we see it. It looks like a pale face framed by dark, disheveled hair. But before we jump to supernatural conclusions, there's an interesting concept to consider: pareidolia. Pareidolia is a fascinating quirk of human perception where our brains tend to make sense of random shapes by interpreting them as something more familiar, often faces. It's the phenomenon that makes us see faces in clouds or on a piece of toast. So could this ghostly visage just be an example of pareidolia at play? Is it a trick of the eye, or could it truly be something more mysterious lurking in the abandoned building? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Out in the woods, an individual had a chilling encounter with a mysterious creature that left them so frightened they struggled to capture a clear image. Nevertheless, let's take a closer look at the footage. The recording reveals massive feet, considerably larger than those of an average human, yet oddly reminiscent of the big guy. Yes, Bigfoot. As the creature moves behind the concealing veil of bushes, you can catch a glimpse of dark fur. Upon closer examination of this footage, opinions diverge widely. Some believe it to be the elusive Bigfoot, while others contend it might be a bear. A third perspective suggests this could be a well-orchestrated hoax. What do you think? A bear is simply bigger and more dangerous versions of dogs? Well, this Trailcam video makes me think so. This Trailcam footage is from the swamps in Florida right after it was hit by a thunderstorm. Not only did these bears survive, but they seem to be playing and enjoying moving on the makeshift bridge built by humans. Clearly, the cubs are nervous the first time they cross it, but Mama Bear isn't. Her composure encourages the cubs to cross the bridge, although very carefully. Perhaps they were simply scared the bridge couldn't hold their weight, but I'd be wary too if I saw a new bridge popping out of nowhere, especially if I didn't know if it was a bridge in the first place. The next day, the story is very different though. All bears, including those that were nervous and the ones that ran away across the bridge knowing it could support them and there was nothing to be afraid of. This footage was captured on a camera set on the back of a dog by its owner as they were investigating a weird humanoid creature roaming the woods next to them. He didn't know what to expect, but nothing could have prepared him for this. After investigating for hours, the reported humanoid creature goes past the trees ahead of them. It was almost as though the creature had spotted them and wanted to leave before they got there. Perhaps it only wanted to be left alone. This man, however, had no intentions of doing so. He wanted to go after it, but his dog wouldn't move. It was frozen in its tracks. Perhaps it knew something the owner did not. Perhaps it had received some information the owner had not. Perhaps it had been told by the Bigfoot that following it would mean sudden death. Whatever the case, we may never know. But this frustrated the owner as the seconds he spent trying to get the dog to move were more than enough for the creature to escape. Was that Bigfoot, though? Many don't think so, but it's hard to deny evidence when it's right in front of you. Now, we have shown you some exotic creatures on this channel, but I doubt any can compare to what I'm about to show you now. What do you think this orange creature is? When the footage was originally posted, a number of Trailcam enthusiasts believed we were dealing with some extraterrestrial or, simply put, an alien. It reminded them of John Carter's companion from his books and movies, only this creature doesn't seem to have the speed of light. There were some who were more grounded in reality and believed it might be a salamander. I can see where they're coming from, but is it though? We doubt that. We're tempted to lean toward the extraterrestrial and otherworldly explanation, but that could just be because we are paranormal enthusiasts. What do you reckon is happening here? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to read them. In a quiet corner of northern Minneapolis, a new homeowner recently moved in and decided to install a motion-detecting trail camera on their property because, well, why not? This area had remained largely untouched for some time and was secluded away from the usual urban bustle. The first two photos captured by the camera showed nothing remarkable, just the serene, natural beauty of the surroundings. The third photo was, however, different. In this image, a young girl with an ethereal appearance was visible. She appeared to be dressed in white and had blonde hair that was cut in a unique style. Naturally, the homeowners were surprised and a bit disturbed by this strange image. Before jumping to any unrealistic conclusions, they assumed that it could be their neighbor's child. Nevertheless, the eerie quality of the photo left them with a lingering sense of mystery, which prompted them to investigate. The result of their investigation was simple. That was not the neighbor's daughter. Who then was that young lady? Was she human at all? Why is she, or it, hanging around their property? These were questions they wanted the answers to. Being unable to find the answers themselves, they turned to the online community, which is you and I. What do you see when you look at the capture? A ghost or a badly taken photo of a young girl? Share your thoughts in the comments section. There be a simple explanation, or does this photo hint at something more paranormal, like a wandering spirit? No matter how much you love the wild and nature, always make sure you respect the personal space of wild animals, even if you feel like petting or hugging them, especially if they're bears. If you've ever owned a house cat, you know how they love to claw furniture, but what happens in the wild when there's none? Well, they use trees. As annoying as it might be to see your cat do that to your furniture, it's instinctive and can't be helped. It's how they keep their claws sharp. If you're a cat that lies in the wild, your claws had better be sharp, and this bobcat knows it. The Trailcam footage shows it sharpening its claws, and boy, are they sharp. Whatever you do, don't ever be at the receiving end of a claw attack from a bobcat. It won't end well. This Trailcam footage shows a blue heron snatching a baby alligator from the river. This is a rare capture even for a Trailcam video. This is something you'd expect from the National Geographic. The capture is both fascinating and heartbreaking. Watching this footage leaves me feel sorry for the baby gator wiggling between the heron's beak as it struggles to free itself from its captor. We can't fault the heron either. It's gotta eat. The wild is brutal, and everyone must do what they must do to survive. Anyone or anything that does less than that will not thrive. The circle of life may be unforgiving, but it's a necessary part of the balance in nature. This mystifying video captures what appears to be a supernatural encounter with a creature resembling both a human and a dog at the same time. The entity's calm demeanor in the face of being filmed adds to the intrigue as it gazes directly into the camera. Debates rage on whether this sighting represents a genuine and paranormal encounter with the dogman or if it's just a person wearing a costume. The blurry nature of the video only deepens the mystery, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. What do you think, though? What are we dealing with here? Speaking of Bigfoot, this footage was taken on the National Park Reserve in Gulf Island. This huge creature was spotted behind a tree in a secluded part of the woods. The figure does appear quite large and possesses dark fur, which are characteristics often associated with Bigfoot sightings. The creature also seemed to be preoccupied with something, perhaps a meal or some object of interest. Taking a look at its back and fur, you don't need to be told that it fits the many descriptions of Bigfoot. However, as with many cryptid sightings, the footage lacks the clarity needed to definitely confirm its identity. It could potentially be a misidentified animal or even a hoax. What's your take? You have to be either powerful or very stupid to attack a lion. But believe me when I tell you that this hippo is far from stupid. Its jaws would have done a great deal of damage to those lions had they not moved out of the way. There are fewer creatures more vicious than a hippo in the wild. The lion may be the king of the jungle, but not on the hippo's turf. It just doesn't work like that. The hippo is one of the most territorial and aggressive animals in the wild. It gets more dangerous when it's in its own waters. The lions learned this the hard way as one was almost caught in its jaws, but fortunately escaped. The other two also managed to make it to the banks of the river. Whatever you do, never invade the space of a hippo. If lions have no chance, you haven't got the slightest chance either. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen, because it's officially cuffing season in the animal kingdom. But unlike us humans who put on our best outfits and sprays to attract a mate, these wild animals have a more unique approach to wooing the opposite sex. This bobcat knows that the way to a lady's heart is through a sweet and sultry voice, so he's sharpened his vocal cords to perfection and wastes no time in showing it off. Clearly, someone wants to feel the love tonight. As the footage plays out, we see the bobcat continuing to call out, his cries echoing through the forest. It's clear he's been at it for a while, but he's not giving up anytime soon, at least not until he's seen his missus. It's a scene that reminds us of the unique and fascinating mating rituals of the animal kingdom, from birds that dance to impress their mates to lions that battle it out for the right to mate. These creatures will do whatever it takes to find love. So here's to any bobcat watching this video. We hope you find the mate of your dreams and that your calls are finally answered, because in the end, love truly does conquer all, even in the wild. In the next video, we delve into a highly contentious debate surrounding a creature known as the Yeti, often referred to as the Bigfoot of the Himalayas. The footage offers a brief glimpse of a towering, white, and shaggy figure estimated to be around 7 to 8 feet in height taking a stroll. Unfortunately, due to the distance and camera angle, the creature's face remains obscured. While many believe this was indeed a Yeti, quite a number of individuals also thought the whole thing had to be a hoax. Some were even bold enough to state that the being in the footage is nothing more than a person dressed in a costume masquerading as the legendary Yeti. A search was conducted in the area to find the creature, but it came to naught. The question remains, was it truly the Yeti, or is it simply a clever ruse? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. We'd love to hear it. A group of fishermen embarked on a routine fishing trip hoping to make a big catch. However, when they eventually hauled their nets back on board, they were met with an utterly perplexing sight. To their astonishment, what they initially believed was a substantial catch turned out to be something far stranger. An anomalous, human-like arm with webbed fingers emerged from their net. The rest of the creature to which this peculiar arm belonged remained concealed, but it's safe to say fish don't look like that. Whatever creature that was, it remained struggling within the net, seemingly attempting to free itself. Intriguing as it may be, the first thought that crossed many minds upon seeing this footage was the age-old fascination with mermaids. Could this be a genuine capture of a mermaid on camera, or is this something entirely different? Share your thoughts with us. If you were chilled by the previous footage, prepare to be even more amazed and perhaps even frightened by this one. This was captured in the snowy mountains of a ski resort in Spain. While many are scratching their heads and wondering what we could be looking at, those who took the footage believe they know what it is. The Yeti, the mythological cousin of Bigfoot. Zooming in on the footage, one can see that the creature shares many similarities with the legendary Yeti. For those unfamiliar with it, it's an ape-like creature that is said to reside in the Himalayan mountains. This footage was, however, captured in the snowy mountains of Spain, which is very far from where the Yeti is originally thought to reside. Could we have been looking at it all wrong, or did the Yeti simply migrate? Because that's clearly a Yeti. The footage looks very much like the descriptions of Yetis that have been passed down through many generations of Asian mythology. Features like its long, shaggy hair, oversized feet, and hulking size are all traits that have been attributed to Yetis over the years. But regardless of whether this is Bigfoot, a Yeti, or something else entirely, the footage serves as a haunting reminder of just how little we know about the natural world around us. The wilderness is full of mysteries and secrets that we may never fully understand, and this is just one of them.
Do you see that? Do you see that?
Why is it always the woods? Why are we seeing them more often now? What are they doing out during the day? At this point, these mystical creatures might as well be parading on our streets because it looks like they don't care about being seen in the woods anymore. If you look carefully in this footage, you can see a dark mass moving from one tree to another as though he were looking for someone or something. A part of me feels, however, he sees the men there and is plotting what to do with them. It's clearly not afraid of them and doesn't feel threatened to hide. Unless, of course, it's blind, which may explain why it's holding on to a tree as it moves from one to the other. But I doubt this is the case. Clearly, it's sizing up the cameramen who thought they were safe and hidden. But notice how much bigger and taller it is than your everyday human. Its arms and legs are no joke either. Clearly, no human can win in a one-on-one match with any of these creatures. I know many don't believe in Bigfoot's existence, but based on available evidence, it's hard to deny the existence of this mystical creature. In this next footage, we encounter something disturbing captured on security cameras along a parkway. In the video, you can observe an empty street late at night with cars moving back and forth, a fairly typical scene. However, let me direct your attention to something unusual. On the left side of the road near the curve, you'll notice a strange entity. This apparition becomes visible when the headlights of passing cars shine upon it. The entity resembles a human figure. This raises questions about the idea of spirits lingering at the locations of their demise. Could this be the case? Is the figure on the road the ghost of a person who could not move on? Many in the paranormal community seem to think so, but what if it's rather an indication of something much more sinister? Well, I guess we'd never know. Before you move on to the next clip, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment in the comments section. It goes a long way to help us produce more videos for you. Thank you very much for doing so. It means a lot. Moving back to today's episode. In this footage, a man was enjoying a leisurely bike ride through the waters of Virginia's woodlands. His carefree exploration took an unexpected turn when he noticed something unusual. Up ahead in the water, a peculiar figure was moving. The figure in question appeared to be covered in brown fur and was walking on two legs, a sight that doesn't typically align with known wildlife in the area. This unexpected encounter prompted the man to halt his bike and point towards the enigmatic creature. While the footage is blurred, many who saw this were quick to label this cryptid being as the legendary Sasquatch. Given the poor quality of the footage, it's hard to confirm or disprove. If that first video didn't make you a believer in Bigfoot, this is sure to get the job done. Get ready to believe, folks, because the evidence for Bigfoot just keeps piling up. And this time, it's not just a fleeting sighting caught on a trail cam. No, sir, it's something much more concrete. A researcher, aka Coyote Peterson, was wandering through a swamp in Canada when he stumbled upon a skull that may just be the ultimate proof of Bigfoot's existence. Now, this isn't your ordinary skull. It looks eerily similar to a human skull, but there's one big difference. Literally one big difference. It's way too big to be human. Based on the descriptions of Bigfoot we know and that we have, we're almost certain that Coyote Peterson is literally holding the skull of Bigfoot while thinking it was some wild animal. He set up his camera looking to show off his biking skills to the rest of the world. What he didn't know was it was gonna end up showing the world something else. A desperate attempt to survive the wild he'd come to love and enjoy. If you look at the footage carefully, you'll see the rider right past the camera. What was not expected, however, was that he returns a few seconds later pushing his bike. Had something happened when he went out of frame? We wouldn't have to wait long to find out. As he nervously looks behind him, we see him making noises to scare someone or something off. And we don't have to wait long to find out that what comes into frame is something very frightening. It's a bear. He runs, but he doesn't retreat. Clearly, this isn't the first time he's been taught what to do when he sees a bear. He raises his bike to make himself look bigger and hits it on the ground several times to scare the predator off. The bear retreats, but still looks very interested in the young lad. The camera goes dark, but we hear the bear in the background. Did he get the boy? Well, we don't hear a scream, so that's gotta be a good sign. And he did send this video in, which is clearly a better sign. So clearly he did live, but it's obvious that what happened was very frightening. This intriguing, albeit hazy photo was captured in the woods, and it raises some questions. At first glance, you might mistake the figure for a bear, but upon closer examination, it's evident that this creature doesn't walk on all fours. It appears to be moving upright, which brings to mind one of the most famous cryptids, Bigfoot. But take a look at its tail. It gives me more reptilian vibes than it does Bigfoot. I mean, but perhaps that's me. What do you guys see? Did you grow up with scary campfire stories? Well, this next capture was brought to us by a man who lived through one. This image was taken by a man who was exploring a secluded woodland area. Yes, the only description we have is secluded because he refused to disclose the specific area. Nonetheless, according to him, he was enjoying the scenes and the chirping of the birds and all the sounds typically associated with the wild when it all went silent. He wondered what could have caused the silence, but after a few minutes of hearing nothing, he tried to make his way to a lake near the woodland area and was met with a sight that stopped him in his tracks. Yes, that. He's no idea what that is, but according to him, it carried an ominous presence that was simply too hard to ignore. He has no idea why, but he started to sweat profusely and feel intense fear. It didn't stop till the creature was out of sight. Luckily for him, he was already hiding in the bushes when this started. Otherwise, he would have been left paralyzed in the open and been at the mercy of the creature. What do you think of this? Heard of or experienced anything such? Let's get talking in the comment section. Still on alligators, this Trailcam video was probably the most conflicting of them all. It's both fascinating and heartbreaking to watch. At first glance, it looks like there's a beautiful, majestic alligator approaching. But as you keep watching, you can see that it's a Trailcam footage of a heartbreaking scene. The crawling reptile, an alligator, appears to have a limp in its movements. As the animal gets closer, you realize that it's missing its right front leg. Could it have been born this way, or could something have happened to it? I will leave the answer to your imagination. Can I run from a bear by climbing up a tree? If you've ever wondered about this footage is your answer. It's a simple no. As large as black bears might be, climbing has never been a problem. Despite them being able to weigh up to 600 pounds when fully grown, climbing has never been a challenge. It's always incredible to see how effortlessly these massive beasts climb, and this particular footage is nothing short of spectacular, if I do say so myself. There's no telling what might have prompted that particular bear to climb up the tree while on an evening stroll, but we're sure glad that he did. At least it does inform and tell everyone watching this video never to go up a tree when being pursued by a bear. Still doubt bears can climb? Perhaps you should watch this video. Unlike the previous bear that was climbing up a tree, this particular one attempts to climb up a ladder or a hunter's tree stand. But why? It had what could only be described as a rather malicious intent. It could see two humans up there, and you don't need to be a researcher to know it was thinking of lunch and dinner when it saw them. Thankfully, the hunters knew what to do and tried to establish dominance and scare the beast, which was only possible because they were safely on top of the tree. He succeeds in doing this, and the bear walks away, but occasionally looks back as though it were having second thoughts. This might not scare you, but I'll admit it did scare me. This next clip reveals an astonishing encounter with a colossal moose. This enormous creature stands as a behemoth, dwarfing its ordinary moose counterparts, its antlers stretched to an astounding 7-foot wingspan, resembling the branches of a tree. In this rare encounter, two individuals had a close call with this monster moose. However, it's clear that the moose's immense size and presence didn't sit well with the men, leading to a tense standoff. One man, filled with trepidation, resorted to use a wooden stick in an attempt to deter the creature. But this risky move could have spelled disaster, for the colossal moose was no ordinary animal, and cornering it only invited danger. Either way, have you seen any of these creatures with your very own eyes? Care to share your encounter? In the depths of the woods, a trail camera captured an intriguing phenomena that has been buzzing across the internet in recent times. In the footage, two raccoons are perched on a tree looking into the distance. It's unclear what they're looking at, but a few seconds into the footage, a peculiar orb drifts out from the dark woods, passing by them and then the camera. Could this be what they were focusing on? Well, some who saw the original post believe so. These light orbs have been gaining attention lately, yet their origin remains a hot topic of discussion. Theories about them being connected to aliens, paranormal entities, or simply tricks of light abound, yet we're still waiting for a definitive explanation for these orbs. Until we have more definitive explanations, we stick to the paranormal ones which state they could be an indication of spiritual activity. What do you think? We've heard a lot about Bigfoot and seen a number of bits of footage of them and even some suspected vocalizations from them. However, this video makes me question a lot of things.
Are you Daryl from Progressive?
This man came across what he believed to be a Bigfoot in the woods. He started filming the creature, and the creature moved behind the trees. He proceeded to ask it a question, and the creature made a squeaky sound in response to what he said. This sounds nothing like the Bigfoot vocalizations we hear, and if this is true, does it mean the elusive creature can't communicate? Ever had one of those moments where you knew that your life was on the line? Well, here we have footage recorded from the GoPro camera on a biker's helmet. While riding on a path in the woods, he was spotted by a grizzly bear. I'm guessing the bear was curious about the biker, or it was really hungry because it gave the biker a hot chase, not even backing down for a second. Don't underestimate bears because of their size. They are very good runners. The bear chased the biker, still not giving up. Unfortunately, the biker came to a path that was blocked by a tree branch, and judging by the speed of the bear, it could catch up to him. So he got off the bike and ran as fast as he could. We don't know what happened after that, but it seems the biker got out of there safely. In the next clip, which is our penultimate, we witness an unusual scene of two men leisurely burning a stack of newspapers. Their casual demeanor as they enjoy this act soon changes when they realize they're being observed. The person recording the video becomes uneasy and moves the camera in the direction of where they felt the gaze coming from. It's at this moment they stumbled upon an astonishing sight. There at the distance stands a paranormal creature with a human-like physique, quietly watching their actions. This eerie entity maintains its distance but eventually retreats when it becomes aware of being observed. The identity and nature of this mysterious creature are open to interpretation. Could it be a ghostly apparition or something entirely different? We invite you to share your insights and thoughts in the comments section to unravel this intriguing mystery. In our next footage, we have a group of children standing in front of a camera, engaged in their conversation and oblivious to the unfolding mystery behind them. Unbeknownst to these children, lurking in the bushes just behind them, a peculiar figure comes into view. This entity has a pallid complexion, a disproportionately large head, and a protruding belly. Oddly enough, it seems to have its back pressed against a tree. Its striking resemblance to our accepted norms of an extraterrestrial figure is rather unsettling. Initially unnoticed, the creature remains undiscovered until one of the children eventually turns and spots it. But here's the kicker. The rest of the children are indifferent about it. This can only mean three things. First, they didn't see the creature. Secondly, it's something they're used to seeing. And third, the footage is edited. Which of these is your best bet? Share with us in the comments section. In this next trail camera footage, we find ourselves deep within the confines of a desolate, shadowy forest. The scenery is devoid of typical animal activity, yet it's far from empty. The footage captures the presence of unique and mysterious guests meandering around the area. Multiple ethereal entities are discernible in the video, their forms resembling that of humans. What sets them apart, however, is their apparent lack of legs, giving them an eerie spectral quality. The question that arises is whether these figures are indeed spirits or some other form of paranormal entities. What say you? In this next video, captured by a motorcyclist in New York, we're presented with another potential Bigfoot sighting. The rider, with one hand steering his bike and the other holding a camera, records his journey. Along the road, there's a stretch of dense bushes where, concealed within the shadows, lurks a mysterious dark figure with a pair of luminous eyes. Despite the limited visibility due to the darkness, it's still possible to discern some features that bear resemblance to a Bigfoot-like creature. The details are far from crystal clear, leaving room for speculation. He believes he saw a Bigfoot, and we can't confirm or disprove it because of the quality of the image. So would you take his word for it and believe there's a Bigfoot moving in the background, or would you call it a hoax and pay no attention to it? Tell us in the comments section. The wonders of ancient civilizations. Here's a fascinating glimpse into the past, an image showcasing one of the many elongated skulls discovered in 1928 at the Paracas Peninsula in Peru. The Paracas civilization, ranging from 800 to 100 BCE, had a unique tradition of cranial deformation. This ancient practice involved tightly wrapping the heads of individuals in cloth during their early years, aiming to achieve the distinctive elongated shape seen in these skulls. But why would you do this? From a cultural perspective, cranial deformation might have held symbolic significance within the Paracas society. The altered skull shape could have been associated with particular social or religious status, serving as a visual marker of identity or affiliation within the community. It might look weird, but it's something they love. Do tell me though, do you see yourself trying this out? Leave your answer in the comments section. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. But before you go, are there popular trail cams you've come across that you think we should absolutely feature on this channel? Tell us in the comments section. If you personally have odd footage you recorded yourself, you can forward it to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do the needful analysis and include it in our next episode. We'll also credit you with it, unless, of course, you want to remain anonymous. We can't wait to receive your clips. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with friends and family. See you in the next one.